capital P stand for? Perimeter of the base. Very good. Okay, that's our lateral area. Okay, our surface area. Okay, we're going to add the base to our lateral area, so half P times L plus capital B. And our volume, bringing out those fractions, volume equals 1/3 area of the base times height. Just a reminder, your height is perpendicular to the center of your base, whereas your slant height is along your lateral face. Okay, so your slant height was that cursive L, and your height is perpendicular to the center of the base. Okay, our last one is a cone. Okay, with a height H, a slant height L, and then you also have a radius. Lateral area. Is S equals pi radius times slant height. Our surface area we're going to add our base, so you have pi r slant height plus pi r squared. And last but not least, our volume. Our volume is equal to 1/3 pi r squared times h. So 1/3 your base times your height. Area of your base times your height. Questions on our purple sheet? Yes. In this case, square, rectangle, whatever's beneath it. Okay, as long as you don't write additional information on here, I don't mind if you use this, but people are starting to put a bunch of stuff on here that's not just formulas so that they can have assistance on skills check and stuff. Okay, so if it becomes a problem, then you will just use the ones that I gave you at the beginning of the year, which was those yellow ones. Okay, but if you would like something a little bit more organized, then don't ruin it for everybody else. Okay, leave it as just the formula. Yes. Of the what? Pi RL plus pi r squared. Alright, go to our notes. Okay, pyramids and cones both have two different heights. Okay, you have your original height and your slant height. Okay, the distance perpendicular to the center of the base is called the what? Height. Okay, so that's your H. The distance that bisects one of the lateral sides is called the what? Slant height. And that's that cursive L, the fancy L. Okay, we'll see if anybody knows this one. A polygon with all congruent sides is called what? So if it has 4 congruent sides, 5 congruent sides, 6 congruent sides, it is said to be what? That's a triangle. Starts with an R. Somebody's whispering it, I feel like. Okay, it's regular. Okay, so if it's a regular polygon, okay, all sides are congruent. So if it's a regular triangle, it's also an equilateral triangle. If it's a regular pentagon, then there's 5 congruent sides. If it's a regular hexagon, it's 6 congruent sides, and so on. Okay. Starting with our pyramids. Okay, find the lateral area, the surface area, and the volume of the solid. Round your answer to the nearest tenth if necessary. Okay, this isn't marked and they don't tell you, but I'm going to tell you this is a regular pyramid. Okay. Okay, it's got a regular base, which makes it what? If this base is regular, what's it called? A square. So what kind of pyramid do you have? A square pyramid. Rather than a regular pyramid, it's probably more appropriate to say a regular base. Okay, what does capital P stand for again? Perimeter of base. Capital B. Area. Cursive L. Slant height. And regular H. Awesome. Alright. Okay, so this is a square. All of my sides are 10. Okay, what's the perimeter of my base? 40 centimeters. What's the area of my base? 100 centimeters. What's my slant height? This should be pointing to this. What's my slant height? 13. What's my height? We have to figure it out. How can we figure out this height? Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so if you draw a right triangle here, what do you know is your hypotenuse? What do you know one of your legs is? 5, because it's from the center of your figure, and if it's in the center, it's cut in half, so 10 divided by 2, this is going to be 5. And then are you solving for a leg or hypotenuse? A leg. Okay, so a squared plus 5 squared equals 13 squared. A squared plus 25 equals 169. A squared equals 144. So what does A equal? 12. If you know your triples, you know that 5, 12, 13 is Pythagorean triple. Okay, so your height is 12 centimeters. Okay, so now we're going to solve for our lateral area, our surface area, and our volume. So we're just going to substitute into those formulas. What is our formula for lateral area? 1/2 PL. Okay, so what is P? The perimeter of the base. Which is? 40. And L? 13. So 1/2 of 40 times 13. What's 1/2 of 40 times 13?
Got it. We'll have a calculator.
Okay. 260 centimeters squared. Okay, what's our formula for surface area? What's our formula for surface area?
1/2 PL plus B.
Okay, so you have 1/2 of 40 times 13 plus area of my base, which was 100. We already know 1/2 40 times 13 is 260. So what's your total surface area? Very good. Okay, volume. What is our formula for volume of a pyramid?
1/3
1/3 capital B times H, so you have 1/3 of capital B, which is 100, times H, which is 12. So you multiply all your numbers up top together and then divide by 3. Okay, give everybody a second. Okay, what do we get as our volume? Very good. 400 centimeters cubed. Justin. Okay. Find the lateral area, surface area, and volume of the solid. Round your answer to the nearest tenth if necessary. Okay. What do we call this figure? A cone. Alright. Identify and solve for P, B, L, and H. For the perimeter of our base, we're talking about the what? The circumference. How do we find circumference? 2 pi r. Okay, so let's solve for that. 2 pi and our radius is 8. So in terms of pi, what's our circumference or our perimeter? 16 pi. Okay, area of our base. How do we find the area of a circle? Pi r squared. Okay, so we have pi 8 squared. Leaving it in terms of pi, what do we have? 64 pi, don't forget your unit, centimeters squared. Okay, what is our slant height? How are we going to find that? Pythagorean theorem. Are we solving for a hypotenuse or a leg? Hypotenuse. Okay, so we have 10 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. 100 plus 64. Round to the nearest tenth. Because that's what it says to do in the problem. Round to the nearest tenth. What do you get? 12.8. Okay, and what's our height?
10.
Alright, so now we are just substituting into our formula. What is our lateral area formula? Pi RL. So you have pi times your radius, which is 8, times your slant height, which is 12.8. So what do we get for our lateral area? 102.4 pi. Don't forget your pi's. Centimeters squared. Okay, how do we find total surface area?
Pi RL plus pi r squared.
Very good. Pi RL plus pi r squared. So we know pi RL is 102.4 pi. And we know that pi r squared is 64 pi because we already found that up there with capital B. Okay, so when you add the two together, what do you get? (166.4 pi centimeters squared). Don't forget your units. Don't forget pi. And last but not least, our volume. What's our formula?
1/3 pi r squared.
1/3 pi r squared times h. So you have 1/3 pi r squared, we know is 64 pi, times h, which is 10. Round to the nearest tenth. What do we get? 213.3 what?
Pi centimeters cubed.
Pi Pi centimeters cubed. Don't forget pi. Plenty of skills checks that people are missing pi and getting the whole thing wrong. Don't forget pi. Okay, questions on the front. So, pyramids, cones, the big thing there is to find your slant heights. Your slant heights and your heights are not the same. Okay, and then when you're solving for Pythagorean theorem, don't mix up whether you're solving for the leg or the hypotenuse. Okay, your slant height is always going to be the hypotenuse. If you're solving for a height, you're going to be solving for a leg. Okay, so make sure that you don't mix that up. Alright, with the people around you, okay, you are doing 1 and 2, and then if you finish 1 or 2, go ahead and do 3. 2 and 3 are very similar, okay, but at least do 1 and 2. Okay, I'm going to give you 7 minutes. It shouldn't take you longer than that. Okay, it should probably only take you like 5 to 6. Okay, so you're doing 1 and 2 with the people around you. If you have time, do 3. If I were you, I would solve for P, B, L, and H, and that way you can just substitute in.
Can you just like write base instead of the pi r squared? Yeah. Base.
Go on to number 3 if you're finished with 1 and 2. Raise your hand if you still need time on 1 and 2. Okay. The rest of you should be working on 3 and you can attempt 4. Alright, let's go over 1 and 2 real quick. I'll put the answers up for 3 if you got to it, and then we're going to move on. What was the lateral area for number 1? Very good. 136 pi units squared. What did you guys get as your slant height? 17 units. Very good. Surface area was what? 200 pi units squared. What about the volume? Very good. 320 pi units cubed. Any questions on any of those? Okay, number 2. What was the slant height? 25. What was the lateral area?
1,500 units.
Awesome. Surface area? Good. And the volume?
6,000 units cubed.
Awesome. Very good. Okay, if you got to it, number 3, what was your slant height?
26.
What was the lateral area?
2,496.
Very good. Surface area?
4,800.
Very good. And the volume?
7,680.
Very good. Okay, so if you didn't get to number 3, that's okay. It was very similar to number 2. But if you want to go back and try it and then compare your answers with the correct answers, do that. Alright. Number 4. Star it, circle it, whatever you want to do to put emphasis on it, because you will see these problems again. Okay? So, you have a plane slicing through a cone that is parallel to its base. It has created a smaller cone inside the larger cone, creating 2 similar cones. What is the ratio of the lateral area of the smaller cone to the larger cone? So, we're going smaller to larger. Alright. So I have 2 cones, okay, because it created 2 similar shapes, so I'm going to draw them. I know that I'm going to have a smaller cone and a larger cone. Whoa. That's okay. Okay, what dimension do I know? The height. So what is the height of my smaller cone? 6. What is the height of my larger cone? 10. Does everybody see how we got 6 and 10? Even though 4 is the smaller number, 4 is just the difference. Okay, so the entire thing was 10. The top part, or the smaller cone, was 6.
So you do like smaller over total, pretty much?
Smaller over large, smaller over total, yeah. Okay. So I have 6 over 10. Is my, what ratio is my height representing? Scale factor. Okay, so what's my first step? Simplify. What does 6/10 simplify to? 3/5. Okay, I need to go to the ratio of my lateral area, so what do I need to do to my scale factor? Square it. So what is the ratio of my lateral areas? 9/25. Okay, so that one you don't need any formulas or anything. Anytime you see the word ratio, that's talking about scale factor, area, and volume. Okay, so make sure that you. So don't make it harder than it needs to be. All right, turn it over. Okay, with the people around you, you are doing 5 and 6. We will come back and do 7. Number 5 says the figure shown is a rectangular prism with a right square pyramid on top. Right square just means a square pyramid. Okay, what is the surface area of the entire solid excluding the square bases? So we are not including the red squares. So what are you finding for both? Lateral surface area. So you need the lateral surface area of the prism plus what? Very good. Lateral of the prism plus lateral of the pyramid. Alright, go. And then do number 6 when you're done. 6 is a review from chapter 3.
Okay, so I can bring this 1 to 6.
Oh, it's basically,
So that's 4. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, so I'm not doing that. I'm fixing my question. I'm wait.
Round to the nearest hundredth.
Okay, so then that would be 7.4. We just have to find the. Okay. Okay, lateral surface area of that is equals to 1/2 PL. Right? 8 times 32.
that's it. Okay.
And then times.
Yeah, guys, on that purple sheet, although we had a picture of a triangular prism, that's generic for all prisms. So rectangular prisms, triangular prisms, okay, that is just generic for prisms.
Now we do.
For the rectangular prism, it's the same formula.
We have to find the surface area of this. So we need to find. We have to subtract everything.
Round to the nearest what?
100.
You have to subtract anything, because lateral surface area is not that nor that. So you just have to find the area.
You can use that.
So, we would just be
Wait, so
We know what's the right corner.
one half.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
If you're finished, you can look on to 7. We're gonna do it together as well.
Oh, sorry, sis.
Oh, go for the nine. Right? Yeah. And then. That's what I'm start.
What am I doing? No, you're wrong.
No, it's not. 80 times 4. 80 times 4. That's 12. 80 to these other 80.
Where are you getting 80 times
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 80 times 4 is 320. Just the, yeah, it's a add.
What'd you get for the
115.
I get 115.
That's
Okay, so 32. Perimeter. Perimeter is 32. Lateral here.
And then lost study face time from like
115.3.
but how much more are you?
435. No, because I had like this. Not 81.
It is a
2/3. That was a big boy.
No. You gotta go. You go from 4/6.
Oh, I didn't swear it. No, I didn't swear.
Alright, let's go over this real quick. Okay, what did you guys get as the slant height of your pyramid?
7.21.
Very good. Your slant height should have been 7.21. Okay, what did that make your lateral area of your pyramid? Very good. So pyramid was 115.36 feet squared. And what was your prism? 320 feet squared. When you added them, what was your final answer?
35.36 feet squared.
Awesome. Very good. Do you have questions? Questions on number 5? Girls. Okay. Number 6. Two similar cones have radii of 4 centimeters and 6 centimeters. The surface area of the smaller cone is 36 pi. Find the surface area of the larger cone. Okay, so this time it didn't say small to large or large to small, so it doesn't matter which one you do. Okay, we know that we currently have radii 4 and 6. What do we need to do? Simplify to what? 2/3. Okay, that 2/3 represents what? The scale factor. Okay, so what do I need to do to 2/3? Square it. When you square it, what do you get? 4/9. Now I'm in area ratio, so I can set up my proportions. So I have 4/9 equals 36 pi over x. So if you cross multiply and divide, you get 4x equals 324 pi. Divide both sides by 4, and x was what?
81 pi centimeters squared.
Very good. 81 pi centimeters squared. Do not forget pi, or it's wrong. Okay, the only time pi gets canceled out is if it's in the numerator and the denominator. Okay, in this case, we're only in the numerator, so you cannot just get rid of it. Questions on number 6? Okay. Number 7, star it, circle it, whatever you want to do. You will see it again in maybe a slightly different context. Okay, but something that's involved will be in your near future. Alright, a snack stand serves a small order of popcorn in a cone-shaped container. Okay, so my small order is in a cone-shaped container. A large order of popcorn is in a cylindrical container. The large cylindrical container has a diameter of 8 inches. And a height of 7 inches. In order to fill the large container, you fill the small cone-shaped container 7 times and pour the popcorn into the large container. So this times 7 equals my cylinder. If the diameter of the cylindrical container is congruent to the diameter of the cone-shaped cylinder, what is the height of the small cone-shaped container? Round to the nearest thousandth. Alright, do you think we're talking about volume or surface area? Why volume? Because you're filling it up. Okay, so you're scooping and pouring, trying to fill up that large bucket. Okay, so, what could I do first? Very good. Find the volume of the cylinder. Okay, so the volume of the cylinder. How do you find volume of the cylinder?
Pi r squared times height.
Pi r squared times height. Straight off that purple sheet. Okay, what is my radius? 4. Careful. 8's your diameter. What's my height? 7. So I have pi times 16 times 7. What am I going to get in terms of pi? 112 pi inches cubed. Okay, so that's the volume of my big, large popcorn. How can I find my volume of my small popcorn?
You can divide it by 7.
You can divide by 7 because 7 little guys equals 1 big guy. Or 1 big guy is 1/7. Sorry, 1 small guy is 1/7 of the big guy. Okay, so if you divide by 7, what do you get? Very good. So the volume of the cone is 16 pi, not just 16 pi inches cubed. Okay, so now I have the volume. I know my area, my base. How do you suppose I could find my height? Not scale factor. Set up your equation, okay? So what is the formula for volume? 1/3 pi r squared. So 16 pi equals 1/3. Okay, pi r squared is going to be what?
4.
Pi 4 squared, which is what?
16 pi.
Okay, so you have 16 pi equals 1/3 of 16 pi. Oh, don't forget your h.
Wait, we're doing this for the cone, right?
Yes. Okay, how am I going to get h by itself?
You have to get everything on one side.
You need to get everything to one side. So how am I going to get everything to one side?
You have to divide 16 pi by 3.
Multiply both sides by 3? Sure, if that's the first step you want to take. That gets rid of the 1/3 and the 3. So now I have 48 pi equals 16 pi h. Then what? Divide by 16 pi. Now, because you have pi in the numerator and the denominator, what happens? It cancels out. Okay, so now you just have 48 over 16, which is what? 3. And that is equal to your height. So your height is 3 inches. Okay, so what's the first thing that we did?
Found the volume of the cylinder.
Find the volume of the cylinder. Second thing we did. Divided it by 7 because it took 7 fills in order to fill the large container. So maybe later on down the road it'll be 3 or 5 or whatever. Okay, so divide it by the amount of times it takes to reload and fill the larger bin, bucket, popcorn, whatever it may be. Okay, then what'd you do? You set up your formula, okay, and you substituted in for what you knew. You knew the volume, and you know your radius, which in turn will give you your area of the base. Okay, and then you isolated and solved for h. Okay, any questions on a problem similar, or maybe the one that will come up like number 7? Most of the time it's going to be the same process. Find the area, or find the volume of the larger something. Okay, divide it by the amount of times it takes to be filled, and then substitute into that formula of your smaller object. Questions? Okay, we don't need to take the skills check until 3:55, so that's going to give you guys 20 minutes to work on homework that I'm about to pass out. If you have questions, ask.